This is just me pushing my ideas at you again, but I can't help it. Here I go. Ready, set, go. Here we go. Hold on tight. Please, please, pretty please, do not buy the expensive stuff first. If you want macaroni in your storage, please do not order macaroni in a number 10 can that has to be shipped to you and it's $6 or $7 or $8 or whatever for the can of macaroni. Please instead go to an inexpensive store, get a brand of macaroni that's perfectly acceptable, and buy $6 worth of it, which is going to $6 or $7 worth of it, which is going to get you a lot more macaroni. Don't bother to package it in any special way. Just put it on the shelf and use it for the time being. If you get an opportunity later to put it in a canning jar and put an oxygen absorber in it, and you want to put it on the shelf or in a or in a foil pouch and put it on the shelf, and you've got, $1 maybe in your foil pouch. I don't know what they cost. I haven't priced them in a while. And 8, 9, 10, 12 cents in your oxygen absorber, and you want to store your macaroni that way, do that. Put it someplace where the mice can't get to it, please. But if you can afford the macaroni in a number 10 can and that's what you want to get, do that. But please don't think you have to start that way. Don't start that way. Start with some inexpensive macaroni and cheese from the store. Get the macaroni off the shelf. Buy some rice. Get some tuna fish, some peanut butter. What does your family eat? Do you like canned peaches, canned pears? Don't buy a $27 number 10 can of freeze-dried pears if your family likes canned pears and you don't have money to waste. Please just go buy 27 cans of pears at $1 a can instead of spending $27 on freeze-dried canned pears. I'm begging you, don't do your food storage that way. If you get to the point where you've got your day-to-day groceries, you've got your macaroni and cheese, you've got your frozen pizza, whatever you use on a day-to-day basis. I know you have to take into consideration that you might not have electricity, but if you got all your day-to-day groceries and you got your tuna fish and your peanut butter and your hot dogs and whatever you eat on a day-to-day basis, you got all that. And then you have some more supplies of the extra things that you use, and then you have extra sugar, and then you've got your baking supplies. You might want to buy powdered egg in a number 10 can. You might decide that instead of doing that, you want to use some kind of an egg substitute. I wouldn't recommend that because the egg is reasonably inexpensive, even if you just got one can. There's so many things you can do differently. There's so many ways that you can make things work and make it happen. I'm going to get a little foggy here if I'm not careful. I'm not saying things quite the way I'm trying to say them here, but what I'm trying to say is start with what you normally use. Get a couple extra bags of apples and a couple extra bags of oranges and throw those in the fridge. Those will keep at room temperature if your electricity goes out for a while. And then you have beautiful fresh fruit. You didn't pay much for it. Rather than buying dehydrated apple slices from a reputable supplier, you can get them for less money depending on where you get them from. Sometimes some of the canned goods you can get them for less. Dry packed canned foods in number 10 cans or in number 2.5 size cans. Those are available some places. The number 2.5 size can, I'm talking pretty quick here. Number 2.5 size can holds about the same amount as a 1-quart canning jar. I still have my pretend oatmeal in there from another video, so we'll take the pretend oatmeal out so that it now is just an empty canning jar. So if you get the opportunity to store somebody, if you have canning jars on hand, that's fine. Please do not go out and spend $7 a dozen, $8 a dozen for canning jars. If you can't get them at a garage sale or you can't buy them from Aunt Susie's nephew's mother's wife's, whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. If you can't find somebody or somebody who knows somebody to buy canning jars from, then don't go out and spend $7 a dozen if you don't have the money to do that with. Instead, buy a supply of things in their original containers and keep them in a cool, dry location away from insects and infestation, and work from there until you can afford a trip to buy other. If you can, let's say somebody's got a great sale on one item, and it's a great, like, for instance, there's little cans of fruit salad that my local store sells for at least $1.29 or more. I think they're 12 or 15 ounce cans of fruit salad. It's like a step up from fruit cocktail. And they had them on sale for 49 cents. Well, that's the time, if they're normally $1.29, you can get them for 49 cents. That's the time that you want to buy as many as your pocketbook will allow you to get that you think you can use in a reasonable period of time. If you can use 48 over a period you want a week for a year, basically, then pick up 48. You know, if you can afford, let's see, what would that be, 24 bucks if they were 49 cents approximately. So if you have the $24 that you can invest in that, fine. Now you got one a week for a year, two a week for 6 months, what have you. Then that's all fine and dandy. But I'm just begging you, please do not think that all your macaroni has to be from a supplier that's 1,000 miles away that's going to charge you $7 or $8 a can for it when you could buy that much macaroni for $2.50. Or I'm just throwing figures around. I can't tell you that those are precise. Another example would be the big canisters of oatmeal that I've shown in the other videos that are 42 ounces. I can still get those for $1.99. They did go from $1.99 to $2.69 at one of the stores I shop at. But I picked up 3 of those because I'm going to put them on my shelf in my kitchen, and that's where they're going to stay, because for quite some period of time they will be fine to use in oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. They'll be fine to throw half the flour in my muffin recipe I can replace with oatmeal. They'll be fine to throw in my 58-minute quick oatmeal bread recipe when I find it for my bread maker. It'd be fine to use with the peach cobbler I've been meaning to make for 3 months. I've got my older peaches sitting on the countertop in the kitchen. It'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine. So I don't have to spend $6 or $7 or $8 a can for less oatmeal than I can pay $1.99 for. So I'm begging you, don't start with the expensive stuff. If you get to the point that you have your 3-month supply of groceries in, and you have your canned goods on a shelf for a longer period of time, and you've got number 10 cans that you've maybe packaged yourself, or you have Mylar bags that are protected with longer term storage, and you get to the point that you want to buy freeze-dried pears and freeze-dried strawberries and freeze-dried raspberries and so forth. I'm not saying you can't buy any of it, but you need the variety and the quantity first before you start spending $28 for a can of freeze-dried fruit, or more. $33 for a can is, I don't know, there's 34 bucks or something for a freeze-dried can of blueberries. I would love to have freeze-dried blueberries in my storage. But I'm not going to do that now. I have a few little luxury items in number 10 cans. I have some butter powder in number 10 cans. You might decide that you want to try to find a place that you can get things in bulk. You may decide that you want to get 5 friends together and order a 50-pound box of whole egg powder and divide that amongst you. I don't know what the savings is on it now because I haven't checked the prices in a while. It used to be a lot less expensive. That might be easier for you to just order 1 can of egg powder for some of your baking. There's just so many alternatives, but please don't start with the expensive stuff first, and we're now sitting on 8 minutes and 8 seconds. So I'm going to quit right there. Please do what you can, the cheap way to get your quantity in, and save the luxuries for later. Peanut butter is not a luxury. Canned fruits are not a luxury. Tuna fish and canned chicken and canned ham are not luxuries. You can get them for $1 a can. Those are not luxuries. Freeze-dried raspberries. I'm trying to think what else they got. Freeze-dried mango. Those are freeze-dried blueberries. I'd love to have all that stuff. But start with the stuff that makes sense so that you can make sure you have the quantity to feed everybody first. Thank you. Bye.